Elijah Jefferson was on a rampage.
My team motivates me the most right now. Missing 2 of them for the first 4 games, coming back and getting them back feels good.
But now it was another Bears' turn to score. Villanueva hands it off to Alex Mata, who is being pulled back, but still muscles through to extend the lead for the Bears. At this point, the Bears were up by 22 points, but this time it was Mata who tossed it to Jefferson, and again he just outruns the entire defense and scores his 3rd touchdown of the game. The final score was 72-0 for the Balmorhea Bears. Now I asked Elijah if any team can stop them, and he said,
"No, sir. I don't think so."
Well, the Bears will stay here in Balmorhea, and they will have a tough opponent next week as they face the Loop Longhorns. Meanwhile, the Fort Davis Indians will head to Midland to face Holy Cross. Jakob, Jair.
All right, thank you, Noah. Great performance by Balmorhea.
Yep.
Before we go, we want to thank Jersey Girl Pizza for feeding our Friday night crew. Always delicious stuff. Now, we may be leaving here on CBS7, but go over to our YouTube channel because we're going to continue this football talk and more volleyball coverage for you as well. Here's a QR code that you can look at to scan on your phone. Pull out your phone now, hold it up to the screen, scan that. It'll take you to our CBS7 YouTube page. We've got about another 30 minutes of coverage on tonight's action, so be sure to come join us over there. We will see you on YouTube.
Live from the leader of high school football coverage in the Permian Basin, this is CBS7's Friday Night Blitz. Brought to you by Odessa College, United Supermarkets, and Dr. Pepper. Now here's CBS Sports Director Jakob Brandenburg and Jair Brooks Davis.
High school football is everything!
Welcome back to the Permian Basin's most experienced high school football show. We just did 15 minutes over on CBS7. Now we've got some extra blitz here on the YouTube channel for CBS7 live for about 30 minutes or so, or however long we want to take. Jair, we covered the most games, but not as many games tonight.
Yeah, so 6A football, it's a bye week. I mean, OHS, Midland High, Permian, and then Legacy. Those guys, they need to rest their legs. They need to get ready for next week when it's district play, Jake.
Yes.
This is what it gets the most exciting. I can't wait until, we jump into this next week.
Yes, that's going to be a lot to see. And normally that's how we lead the show, is with the Rebels or the Panthers or the Broncos or someone. Tonight we're going to start with the Andrews Mustangs.
Yes, I was there, so let's just take it over into the highlights. So it was the Andrews Mustangs hosting the Canyon Eagles this evening over at the Mustang Bowl. Andrews had the ball to begin the game. Running back Merck Says, he gets the handoff, he makes his way past the defense, and the Red Sea is parted for him on 3rd down as he'll take this all the way to the end zone for the touchdown to help give the Mustangs the lead. Now, they would miss the extra point try. So the Eagles, they would take a 1-point lead off of a touchdown. Second possession for Andrews, Aiden Olivas on the keeper. He'll go out of bounds for the 1st down for the Mustangs. Now, later on the drive, Leroy Milan, he got the handoff, takes it to the end zone to put the Mustangs up 12-7, Jake. So the Mustangs, they make the decision to go for 2, and Milan is going to complete the conversion to take a 14-7 lead for Andrews at the half. The game was tied at 14. The final score was Canyon. They got the win 35. Andrews, they fell with 14 points. Andrews, they will be beginning district play next week.
As you mentioned, Andrews was leading in the first half, had 14 points at halftime, just didn't score any in the second half.
Yes, I mean, Canyon, Jake, you could tell during the game, Canyon, the Eagles, they were able to find a way to get to the Andrews defense.
Canyon got a good team. You see it there. They're 5-1 on this season. Some other scores from tonight's action. Midland Christian was on the road in Dallas taking on Bishop Lynch. The Mustangs win 32-27. That is Midland Christian's 2nd win in a row.
Very nice for Midland Christian. I know that they started out the season very slow, and they're starting to bounce back a little bit.
They started against a tough non-district schedule. Bishop Lynch, a good private school team as well. So Midland Christian got to be feeling encouraged as they near their district schedule. Pecos, they were at home tonight taking on Shallowater. This one does not go the Eagles' way as they lose 45-3.
Yes, and I mean, very tough loss as you will be beginning district play next week, Jake, as they will be hosting Monahans of all teams.
I know, so you take on your arch rival who also happens to be undefeated. Monahan's one of those teams that's enjoying a bye week this week, but we've talked about it. Bye week, off week does not mean no work week. Those teams are still preparing. Yes. Speaking of district games, Odessa Compass and Crane. This is a district game, District 1, 3A, Division 2. Crane beats Compass 42-0. This comes after Crane won their game last week against Tornillo 68-0. So the Golden Cranes looking like a favorite to repeat as district champions.
Yes, I know that they started out slow, if I'm not mistaken, in non-district play, right, Jake?
A little bit, yeah. And they played some tough teams.
Yes, but now they're starting to bounce back. But as for Odessa Compass, it only gets harder and harder for them.
And again, this is the team that only the district that only has 4 teams in it, so they each play each other twice. It's like a double round robin kind of deal, so you end up getting 6 district games out of it. Staying in that district, it's Alpine and Tornillo, the other 2 teams making up that district, and Tornillo gets shut out again as Alpine, our fighting Bucks, put 74 points on their head. Alpine, another team that, after a slow start, starting to find their footing a little bit as well. Tornillo, you don't want to dump on them too much. They haven't won a game each of the last 2 seasons. So they're on something like a, 0-6 this year, something like a 22 game losing streak, something like that.
Yeah, if I was a Tornillo fan, I would jump on the Golden Cranes bandwagon, folks.
I don't think the folks out in Tornillo are following Crane very closely.
Yeah, well, I would start following. I would actually want to, root for a winner.
It's like a 4-hour drive or so. But I get your point because, yes, that's Crane's, like we said, probably the favorite to maybe win that district. The game between Crane and Alpine is certainly going to be interesting, seeing how those 2 teams have performed so far. All right, let's check in on some 3A action. Our own Tyler Poglich is out in Kermit live right now. Tyler, what more can you tell us?
Yeah, Jacob, we're out here in Kermit right now for tonight's matchup between the Kermit Yellow Jackets and the Reagan County Owls. So let's see how the first half of tonight's game went.
The Yellow Jackets come into tonight's game at 1-4 on the season, while the Reagan County Owls come into tonight's game at 3-1. Players and fans were treated with Representative Landgraf, where he gave tonight's coin flip before the game. But enough with that, let's get right into the highlights. On the first drive for the Yellow Jackets, quarterback Perez would be picked off by number 6 Chris Johnson, but the Owls wouldn't hold the ball for long as quarterback Kason Brown would lose the ball, giving the Yellow Jackets a chance to find the end zone first, which they would end up doing with a nice run by wide receiver Devontae Dawson, where Kermit would take the lead 6-0. But the Owls would march right back down the field with a touchdown of their own after Brown flips it to his wide receiver for the touchdown. But Dawson would make sure again to give the Yellow Jackets the lead with his 2nd touchdown on the night, extending the lead for the Kermit Yellow Jackets 12-7. And right before half, the Yellow Jackets would extend their lead 21-7 with a touchdown from their quarterback Perez.
So the second half of tonight's game has been a back-and-forth battle between the 2 teams, but the game just ended where the Reagan County Owls were able to score with under 2 minutes left to take a 40 win or lead to get the win tonight. Next week will be the start of their district competitions for both teams, as Reagan County Owls will be taking on Forsan at home, with Kermit Yellow Jackets taking on Lamesa. Reporting for CBS7 First Alert Sports in Kermit, I'm Tyler Poglich.
All right, thank you very much, Tyler. It seemed like a fun game out there between 2 teams that have very strong offenses.
That is very true, Drake. That is very true. It's going to be interesting to see how far Kermit goes this year. I'm actually excited for them.
That's true. First-year coach there in John Fellows, but they kind of got the bones. The previous coaching staff got those kids believing after several down years. So I think the talent's kind of there, and they're a well-coached group.
Yes, in the words of Coach Prime, do you believe?
Yes, we believe.
Yes, I believe in the Kermit Yellow Jackets this year.
We do. We believe in Kermit.
Yeah.
Obviously, Crane impressive tonight. Alpine impressive tonight. You wanted to say something about Andrews. What was on your mind?
Well, when it comes to Andrews, Jake, they converted from the spread over to the slot T. I mean, I was watching them, just a little bit. I'm a little bit concerned about them right now because when it comes to Canyon, I mean, they were able to get their defense, by Andrews' 3rd offensive drive. I mean, it's sort of easier to figure out. I think that, Andrews, they need to incorporate a little bit of some more passing into their game plan going forward.
And they have had games this year where they have not thrown the ball at all, and I think won in those games. So they can be effective out of that run-first offense. But, yeah, maybe Canyon did kind of pick up on something that could explain why Andrews got shut out in the second half of their loss tonight. All right, let's go out now to Jensen Young, who is in Greenwood covering the Rangers. Jensen.
It was the Greenwood Rangers hosting the San Angelo Lakeview Chiefs, and Greenwood was coming into the game still looking for their first win of the season and first win under new head coach Brian Hill. Now, obviously, both teams had a lot to play for, but only one dominated throughout the whole thing. So let's check out some of the highlights. It was Greenwood from the very start of the game. They got the ball first against San Angelo Lakeview. And quarterback Lincoln Madrid, he hands off to DeMore and Mayfield, who then gives it on the reverse to Cade Rowalt. He's running, he takes it into the end zone for the first touchdown of the game, make it 7-0 Rangers. Second possession now, DeMore Mayfield, he gets the ball once again, but this time he takes it into the end zone himself, 15-0 Rangers after a 2-point conversion. Lakeview ball now, Samuel Ramirez gets it, but look out for number 0, Landon Butts, the linebacker, comes in and rips it away from Samuel Ramirez. He's running all the way down the field, and he takes it in to the end zone. What a defensive play, but look out now on offense. Landon Butts once again now at running back. He takes it in for the score. Greenwood enters halftime over the Chiefs with the lead sitting at 42-0. Greenwood would hold on to get the win 52-6. All right, I'm here with head coach Brian Hill. Coach, it was your very first win. Tell me how that feels.
It feels incredible. Mostly I'm happy for the kids. You know, we faced a lot of adversity the first 5 weeks of the season, and they never quit. They kept working, they kept pushing. Practice was great this week, and just happy that they got to experience that success.
I hear this is your third hat of the season. Tell me about that.
Yeah. Well, we struggled with the first hat, and the second hat wasn't much better. So, changed hats tonight, and we're going to stick with this blue one for the next couple of weeks. See how it works.
Well, there you go. It got you the win, and they take on Snyder next week. I'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
Appreciate it.
Here's tonight's Band of the Week, brought to you by Midland College.
Well, first off, how about the Greenwood Rangers getting their first win of the season?
Yeah, I mean, Greenwood, they were struggling to begin the season, Jake, but, finally they got in the win column, and who knows, they could have a player of the week coming out of this, Jake.
And you heard it there, first win for Coach Brian Hill, so congratulations to him as Greenwood's head coach. Now, Greenwood was one of the teams we had in our Band of the Week contest. The other was Big Spring. Let's see who won. It is the Big Spring Steers who come out on top, nearly 12,000 votes from y'all this week. Very nice turnout. Big Spring receives over 7,000 of those votes to claim our CBS7 Band of the Week.
And in more local high school football scores, the Wink Wildcats, they defeated El Dorado tonight 49-14.
Wink still state ranked in 2A Division II, proving against the El Dorado team that came in with a strong record as well. And that's a district game too. That's a start of district play for them.
Yes, and plus Wink doing this after Cannon Gibson graduated, Jacob.
That's true, but at Wink, they're one of those places that doesn't have to rebuild, they just reload. McCamey, they're in the same district with Wink and El Dorado. They haven't started district play yet. One more non-district contest for the Badgers. They look good against Lamesa, beating the Tornadoes 46-25. Lamesa still winless on the season.
Yes, but as for McCamey, let's just talk about that team who won. They'll be facing Sterling City next week, and I mean, it's always a good feeling to head into district play, Jacob, with a win.
And the Badgers are a team that had a tough non-district slate as well, played against some bigger schools, so we'll see how they can do in the district because they're a team like Wink that believes they can win that district every season.
Yes, that is very true. That is very true. And now moving on Friday night's week recap, excuse me, Jake, you got this.
Yeah, we talk about a lot of high school football.
Yes.
West Texas, obviously, so we're going to talk high school football, but volleyball plays on Friday nights as well, and with fewer football games this week, why don't we mix in a little bit of volleyball? Friday night spikes, get it?
Oh, yeah.
Biggest game of the night, regardless of sports, Midland Legacy at Midland High. Standing room only crowd. This match was electric from the get-go. Delaney DeSporis to Ava Wilson. Wilson terminates that ball, and so it begins. Great effort here from Mabry Scarber to save this ball, but it's right back in harm's way. Taylor Martinez puts that away for the Rebels. Here comes Midland's Madison Bowler right up the middle. Midland took a 2-1 lead in this match. Rebels needing a comeback. Devin Bryant to Josie Griffin. Josie gets it right around the blocker somehow, and Legacy forces a 5th set. Caitlin Beckham setting now. Martinez showing off her power again, giving Legacy the advantage here in the 5th. But Midland would take the advantage right back. Wilson flies in for another kill. Lady Dogs just points away from winning. But wouldn't you believe, Legacy had another charge in them. Thompson goes way up for a big block to give Legacy match point. And on match point, Midland High hits the ball out of play. Legacy comes back and beats rival Midland High in an awesome 5-set match. Rebels are still undefeated in district play.
It feels great. We're not done yet. We're not satisfied, but it feels great so far. We've done a good job. It was crazy. It was for both sides, screaming back and forth, back and forth. It was never a dull moment. It was just so loud. But it was fun. It made it fun.
All right, some other volleyball scores from District 2-6A. Permian was on the road at San Angelo Central. The Panthers won a set, but they lose this match in 4. Odessa High hosted Friendship, and unfortunately the Lady Broncos were swept. Friendship joins Legacy, leading that district at 3-0. Legacy, the 2-time reigning district champion in volleyball, looks like they're maybe on their way to a 3rd district title in a row.
Yes, and plus, going up against the Friendship Tigers, I sense a little bit of a rivalry right there between Friendship and Legacy, not just on the football field, but also in volleyball too.
That's true, because that football game is going to be next week, starting the district play for football. 2 teams thought to be the front runners, perhaps, for the football district championship. 2 teams right now, the front runners for the volleyball district championship.
That is right, but also there's a lot of talent in the district in volleyball. You know, Odessa High, Permian, Midland High, they all have a lot of talent, so we'll see how this plays out within the upcoming weeks.
Well, to your point, Midland High with that loss to Legacy tonight, still 0-3 in district play, so the Lady Dogs still haven't won a district game, and although that's because they played some very tough competition, they played Legacy, they played Friendship, and they played Permian, who, you know, didn't maybe show it tonight, but might be the 3rd best team in that district as well. So very crowded group of 6 teams battling for 4 playoff spots.
That is absolutely true, Jake. But also, lastly, before we move on, Permian, big Jade Workman fan, goes to my church and everything like that. So I'm rooting for Permian.
Jade Workman is a stud for sure there for the Panthers, and she had a great game again tonight. Just not enough for Mojo to beat San Angelo Central. Speaking of great players, let's meet our CBS7 Player of the Week.
Here's tonight's Player of the Week, brought to you by New Tech Commercial Roofing.
The CBS7 Player of the Week is Midland Legacy's Damian Johnson. Now, we knew this guy was an all-district defensive back, but last Friday he showed that he may be even better at running back. Damian rushed for 200 yards and 3 touchdowns against Converse Judson. He added a kick return touchdown as well.
Wherever the team needs me, you know, that's where they can plug me in at. Offense and defense sides, I look forward to contributing and just want to be the best version of myself.
All right, some more of tonight's action. Big Spring was hosting undefeated Seminole. First drive, Seminole quarterback Wyatt Holmstrom throws a quick pass out to Caton Kramer. Caton scores the first touchdown of the game. Big Spring answers with a little sweep to Jose Munoz, and he's going to throw. This ball's deep to Ziari Franklin. Franklin runs under it and then outruns the defense. That kid's one of the best deep threats in West Texas. Steers with the ball again. Gavin Padron quick to Keyshawn Woodruff. Speaking of man amongst boys, how about he breaks out of 5 different tackles and goes into the end zone? What a play. Now Seminole comes right back. Holmstrom lobs it up with Stephen Davis out there. He outjumps the defender to retake the lead. A lot of great plays in this game. It's a highlight reel, top 10 almost. Seminole, they were not done scoring. Holmstrom finds Logan McCormick wide open in the end zone. 4th touchdown in the first half for him. This game was high scoring and just finished up. Seminole wins 44-33 over Big Spring. Steers having a bit of a rough season, but they showed some fight here against an undefeated team. Our Armando Gomez is out there in Big Spring with more.
Congratulations, Coach Pointer, on the win.
Appreciate it.
What does this win mean to you going forward into the season?
Well, it's nice. You know, it keeps us undefeated, and you know, we're fixing to start district next week, so we wanted a game that kept a little momentum going for us. I don't feel like we played very good tonight, especially not defensively. We were a little sloppy everywhere, a lot of penalties, but it's nice getting the win. Keep your momentum going. You know, keep your record perfect.
Thank you, Coach. And what do you have to say about your performance from your quarterback, the leadership he had in today's game?
Yeah, Wyatt played really good for us again, and for the most part, I felt like our offense played pretty good most of the night. And Wyatt, you know, we asked our quarterback to do a lot. We put a lot on our quarterback, and I thought he really did a good job. He was coming off of an injury. You know, he didn't get to play last week and came back. I thought he looked pretty close to full speed. I was really proud of him, proud of the way he played.
Congratulations, Coach, on the win. Jair, Jacob, back to you guys.
All right, thank you, Armando. Seminole remains undefeated, and Seminole is one of those spots where I think technically they're in the Lubbock TV coverage area, but it's only an hour away from our studio right here. And I know we have people in Seminole that follow us on social media and want to keep up with us. And when your team's playing that well, you don't care who's covering you. You want to be recognized.
But also, let me tell you this about Seminole, Jacob. They have a lot of talent out there. For example, Blake Flowers, who's now at UTPB. I watched him play last year at Seminole. I mean, they are a strong contender in that district.
Well, how about this? The quarterback, Holmstrom, you saw had a big game tonight. He's a junior, and then all the guys we saw catching his passes are all sophomores. So a very young team up there in Seminole as well, so they could be a force to be reckoned with for a few years. Let's talk some six-man football. CBS7's Noe Ortega went down to Balmorhea, where the Bears were hosting Fort Davis. Noe?
Well, Jacob and Jair, coming into this game, it seemed like it was going to be pretty even. The Balmorhea Bears and the Fort Davis Indians were both 3-2, but it immediately turned into a nightmare for the Indians, as Ethan Villanueva tosses it to running back Elijah Jefferson, who gets a good block and easily scores the first touchdown of the game. And it's deja vu as Villanueva passes it again to Jefferson, who scores back-to-back TDs. Looking unstoppable during the first quarter, Elijah Jefferson was on a rampage.
My team motivates me the most right now. Having missing 2 of them for the first 4 games, coming back and getting them back feels good.
But now it was another Bears' turn to score. Villanueva hands it off to Alex Mata, who is being pulled back, but still muscles through to extend the lead for the Bears. At this point, the Bears were up by 22 points. But this time, it was Mata who tossed it to Jefferson, and again, he just outruns the entire defense and scores his 3rd touchdown of the game. The final score was 72-0 for the Balmorhea Bears. Now, I asked Elijah if any team can stop them, and he said,
"No, sir. I don't think so."
Well, the Bears will stay here in Balmorhea, and they will have a tough opponent next week as they face the Loop Longhorns. Meanwhile, the Fort Davis Indians will head to Midland to face Holy Cross. Jacob, Jair.
And in more six-man football scores, the Grady Wildcats defeated Grand Falls Royalty tonight 70-26.
And at least on paper, that's a little bit of an upset. Grand Falls came in with a 4-1 record, so good for Grady to spring one there on the Grand Falls Royalty Cowboys.
And in more scores tonight, it was Garden City taking on Van Horn. Garden City, they got the win tonight over Van Horn 32-20. So very impressive for Garden City, Jake.
And yeah, tough start for the Bearcats. You see there that they were 1-4 coming into tonight. Of course, 3 of those losses, at least 3, maybe all 4, have been against teams ranked in the top 10 of the state. So Garden City now, as they inch closer to district play, maybe are gearing up for kind of your typical Garden City type of run.
Yes, not to mention they are also retooling a little bit over there, actually.
And Van Horn beat Balmorhea, so you just saw what Balmorhea did to Fort Davis. So we know Van Horn has a pretty good team this year as well.
And in more scores tonight, it was Wellman Wildcats taking on the Sands Mustangs. Sands, they dropped 90 points tonight. I mean, this is not even a video game, Jake. This is real life.
It's just six-man football, Jair. That's the kind of thing you get here in these games. Rankin taking on the Lubbock Homeschool Christian Titans. I bet they're good at football. Not really. 54-8. I'm sorry. That wasn't nice.
Stop being mean, dude.
Rankin, though, Rankin's state ranked still. Even though they've lost a couple games this year, Rankin's still number 10 in the state for 1A Division I. And the Red Devils are another one of those teams that could be prepared to run through their district slate unless Garden City maybe has something to say about it. Grady lurking out there as well, so we could see maybe if they pull something off. A good win for Rankin tonight, beating the homeschool kids. We want to thank Jersey Girl Pizza for feeding our Friday Night Blitz crew. The pizza, delicious as always. We appreciate that. Jair, any parting thoughts from you as we go, I guess, into district play for real next week?
So, we talked about friendship and legacy. I mean, that is on the volleyball court, but on the football field, it should be a fun one next week. And don't forget, we have Permian and OHS taking place at Rattler Stadium, so we have a lot to look forward to.
Yes, we can never forget that. We also have this little crosstown game that, the whole world has heard about or read about. It's no big deal, right? But yes, Permian OHS next week, and then Midland High plays on Thursday in San Angelo against San Angelo Central. I'm thinking I may make the road trip to just go see the Bulldogs. I don't think I've actually seen them play in person this year.
No, I don't think you have, from what I remember, scheduling
Right,
wise.
they had a lot of road games, and I think you've been to their other games. So you've gotten to see how good Midland High is, because they are undefeated here as we head into district play. So Midland High, actually, maybe a team we should be talking about as a favorite in that district.
We will see how that goes, Jake, but also, like, they're going up against San Angelo Central, who is not having a pretty good start off to the season so far. So I see the Bulldogs starting with a 1-0 record in district play.
Yeah, San Angelo Central has struggled. They seem like they are down this year, but Coach Thad Fortune, talking with him on Tuesday, he was certainly not ruling out that Central's still a team that they have to be very concerned about, very prepared for, and take care of business against them on Thursday.
And any word on Stroman so far?
Stroman is, week to week, I believe is the terminology that Coach Fortune used. So we'll see if the guy who was presumed to be Midland High's starting quarterback is able to make it back healthy for the beginning of district play.
Hey, but all we need is some love, and that is Tristan Love, that is, Jay.
Yes, Tristan Love, the sophomore, been great filling in at quarterback for Midland High. We talk about this every week, but we have new viewers every week. We always want to remind you about these big storylines overall that we're looking at with our teams. Speaking of new viewers, if you haven't subscribed here to our CBS7 YouTube page, be sure to do that. Like this video, send it out to your friends, because you can do that sort of thing, but be sure to subscribe to the channel, because then you'll get notifications about when we go live with this show every Friday night. We start at 10:30-ish, 10:33 I think to be exact, and we do what you guys just watched, another extra 30-ish minutes talking about more of these games. And again, tonight a little bit of a lighter slate, so not as much to talk about for us this evening, but starting next week it's going to be a lot to cover.
It is the real deal starting next week, Jacob. Can't wait for that.
Yes, it sounds good, buddy. All right, well, thank you for watching the Friday Night Blitz and staying up late with us. We appreciate that. We will see you back here again next week.